Welcome, fans, to episode 86 of Rangers Ed. This is your host, Cousin Ed, here with my co-hosts, Little Ed and Coach Ed, and our producer, Mikey, joining us via phone. What's up, guys?
How we doing, fellas? Excited for our little holiday episode. I got my little motion hockey rink going on next to me with the holiday lights.
Oh, is that the
So
same one you got me? Coach, you got that for me too, right?
Yes.
We didn't bring them out this year, but yeah, that's so nice. I love that shit. I like how the
yeah,
players move
so
around.
I know I got it plugged in. I turned the lights off in my little studio here. So head on over to the YouTube to check it out.
It looks like you're at Bryant Park at night with the light on your face and the rink in the
Yeah.
background.
I didn't get one, Coach.
You weren't part of the family technically back then.
They only had two.
They only had two left at Cole's.
Usually I get screwed out when there's only two left. This time
I ran it by the EA the PA and she put the kibosh on it.
Checks out.
That's a more likely scenario. But yeah, we all got our Santa hats on, a little holiday cheer. Thanks for listening. During the holidays, I know it's a busy time for everyone, so we're gonna try and make this a little fun, do things a little different. But before we get into that stuff, let's jump right into the jersey numbers, sponsored by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. Jeremy Williams, Wojtek Volsky. I just remember it was with a V because I remember Sam Rosen saying that very specifically, Wojtek Volsky.
Yeah.
And Josh Joris, the only Rangers to wear 86, but three Rangers. That's kind of a lot, I think. Coach, anything on those guys?
I only remember the last one, Worski.
The middle one?
Voltek.
Yeah. No, I remember Volsky. He was pretty good, but the other two, I have no idea. So anyway, prior to the last episode, the Rangers were 15-10-5. They won 3 straight. They're now 18-10-5 on a 7-game winning streak, 41 points, third in the Metro, tied for 7th in the NHL. Playing Pittsburgh tonight. We're recording this right before the game. It's about 6:15, so the game's going to come on during the episode. Don't spoil it for me. Home win against Toronto, a good defensive effort, 3-1 victory, then a 6-3 win with Halak in net at Philly, and a 7-1 thumping of Chicago in Chicago. A little payback from the last game.
With an attitude on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, boys, 7-game winning streak. It all started with that last Chicago game. Valaket called out the Rangers after the game. Trouba made those comments in the locker room. The next game, it was they were trailing after 2. They came back in the third and won, and it's just been, I guess uphill. What did I say, or downhill? I think uphill. No, it's been downhill ever since. Right, easier. Right, it's been easier. So the team is playing better and better every game. 7 straight wins. Little Ed, what's the biggest thing that you're noticing to get these wins? I mean, they're kind of winning each game in different ways.
I think that I'm going to go the cliche route. I'm just going to say that they're playing as a team. I mean, everyone's stepping up. All 4 lines are rolling, whether or not they're making it on the score sheet or not. Everyone's doing their job. The PK is doing well. The power play is doing well as usual. They're winning faceoffs. I mean, yeah, they're not really making many mistakes. So yeah, I mean, I guess Trouba sent the message and they came together, whatever they did. And now they're playing like a team, and it seems like there's no turning back.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, do you think it's anything the coach is doing? I know that's been a hot topic we've had lately.
I think it's a combination of everything. I mean, I don't know who pushed Trouba's buttons, the whole attitude, but I mean, you talked about it before that what was going on. They didn't look like they were having fun. They didn't look like last year when they were really having fun and high-fiving each other and that whole celebration attitude. And all of a sudden it's happening. We were saying that you kept saying they're in the thick of it. We just needed a winning streak. And right now they have it. So, it's going to be exciting to see how they keep up with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the Rangers were 11-10-5, 7 games ago, sitting 3-4 points out of the playoffs, trailing a bunch of teams. And then they just go on this run. And all of a sudden they're 3 points behind New Jersey. Going into Christmas, we got a couple games here, but we're right there for the division, right there for the 2 and 3 seed in the Metro, and creating a little separation. So look, you're not going to win every game, but hopefully they can ride this out to a solid like 13-2 stretch or something, reasonable. I don't know if that's reasonable, but obviously they're not going to go.
I mean,
they're not going to win every game.
The big noticeable thing to me is that everybody's contributing. First line, top player to bottom player, the goalies, every play is. There's a lot of guys getting on the score sheet. Not every game, obviously, but in this span, where it's not just Zibanejad's line and the power play scoring. It's everybody getting opportunities and putting pucks in, which is what you need.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Little Ed, I'm looking, just look at these 3 games and you see Zibanejad's name for once is way down that list. He's not usually he's up there first or second on the team in points. Obviously, second for the season, so he's usually up there. I see him way down the list. He's not really playing badly or anything. It's just, how many goals were scored in these games? 7 plus 6 plus 3. Coach, you're the math guy. 16? 16 goals, 3 assists for Zibanejad. That's it. So you're right. There's more balanced scoring, and it's important. You see Kako and Hedel and VC and Trocheck and Laffy, all in the mix getting points. This team is going to be really good if that's the case. So yeah, definitely a lot of positives. Let's talk about the coaching a little bit though. So last episode, I was saying scratch Blais and play Kravtsov. I complained about it. I said Gallant would never do it. No one's ever going to develop under him. I went on a whole rant, and then I get a tweet to my phone that says Kravtsov in, Blais out, and I was just like, is he listening to our episodes or something? Next game, literally the next game, puts him in. Then he puts Blais back in, sits Gauthier. He's got the kid line together. It seems to be working. Coach, do you leave it? Let's just say hypothetical, because it's working now. It's clicking. 7-game winning streak. It is what it is. Let's say after 1 today, it's 2-0 Pittsburgh. No, the Rangers aren't really generating a lot of offense. Is he going to shuffle the lines? Do you leave the lines? That's where I'm looking. I want to see what Gallant's going to do in that situation. What would you do?
It depends on the game. First of all, if the Rangers are getting opportunities and it's more or less an even game, but they're losing 2-0, then you leave it. If the Rangers are playing flat and Pittsburgh's bottling them up and they need to wake something up, then you got to make a decision in game. Look. Again, we talk about it a lot. But what me and Eddie do coaching is far below any considerable level that they're on. But it's all proportionate. You have to make those in-game decisions. A lot of times in the game, he'll say something to me or he'll say something to Mike or whatever. Get this kid out there, get things going with something. So that's a coach's decision in game. And it sounds stupid, but like the crowd's going crazy, the freaking horns going off because the other team scored, the frustration's there, and your head's just spinning. But he's got to make those decisions and keep his cool. And that's not an easy thing. But depending on the game and how the Rangers are playing is how he's going to make that decision, I think. And like I argued with you for the last couple of episodes, I think he's pretty good at it. But it remains to be seen if it continues or not.
And it's usually something, whereas like I'm the defensive coach on the bench, and Coach Ed is the head coach. So like he'll come over if he notices that one defenseman's having a better game than the other, whether it's a certain situation, penalty killing. He'll just come over and whisper in my ear, "Hey, put so and so out there on the next shift, double them up, whatever." And then if I notice something on the offense, if I see someone hustling a little bit extra and then another player, I'll say like, "Hey, sit that kid down for a shift and let him take his place." Or if there's a power play, I'll be like, "Put that kid out there on the power play for sure. He's having a game." So like I compare that to like, I know VC's kind of like Gallant's pet in a way, but like if he's having a game, if he's hustling, and it seems like things are just working for him that particular game, then that's up to the coaches to just be like, "Hey, we got to ride this kid," or whoever it may be. It could be Johnny Brodzinski. It could be Panarin. It could be Zibanejad. It could be anybody. You got to just make that in-game decision where it's like, okay, this kid, he's playing on the 4th line, but let's give him let's throw him on the 1st line for a shift and see what happens.
Yeah, there's definitely in-game adjustments based on how a player is playing, right? I mean,
performance, yeah.
VC against Toronto was out of his mind, not just because of that beautiful goal, but
he was out for vengeance.
Yeah, he was out of his mind in that game. So if the coach makes an adjustment for a game because of something like that, I'm fine with it. But for the most part, I want to see him develop some chemistry with these lines. If he's going to leave the kid line together and play him top 6 minutes, I'm fine with it. He's kind of rolling Trocheck and Kreider and VC more as like a shutdown line, a forechecking third-ish line, two B we'll call it. And he's playing the Heedle line as like a 2A. So if he's going to do that, I'm more okay with the kid line because they're at least getting the ice time. But we'll see. We'll see how what he does. I mean, I'm still waiting for him to blow the lines up and throw everybody all over the place. It's bound to happen at some point.
There's an interesting interview I saw. I think it was this morning, or I don't even remember. I got home late last night on NHL. The beat writer for the Bruins, they were asking him, how would that coach come in and what did he do? He mixed up a lot of lines. There's been a lot of multiple combinations. How do you feel? How does he feel about that? How do you feel about it? He said that's pretty much like you said last time, Ed, that any player should be able to play anywhere. And when there's an injury down the road, you have to be ready to mix things up and have the chemistry. So that's what it's kind of, I'm not saying he's doing it on purpose, but you have to have guys ready to play in multiple situations, not just set playing with three guys and then they can't play anywhere else.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So I thought that was an interesting interview.
Well, don't you think with line combos, I mean, for me at least, when I played, there was always like one guy on the team who I was very comfortable with when I played forward. It was never the same three, but I feel like there needs to be like pairs of players, right? So if the coach is like, all right, Heedle and Kako have chemistry, and he wants to rotate a guy into that left wing spot, like fine, finding something. To me, that makes sense. But when you start shuffling everything all over the place, that's where I have the issue. But ultimately, look, it's working. Whatever he's doing, they're winning games. The kids are scoring. Kraftsov scored. Heedle scored. Kako, Laffy got 3 assists. I mean, I sent that Quagmire picture like 30 times in these games, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm enjoying it. So, I'll give him credit.
I mean, just the attitude of the team, just the attitude of the team. Whatever woke it up, it was probably a combination of Trouba and the coaching staff working on certain things, and it's all about character. What's between the ears, and the Trouba waking them up was definitely the telltale sign.
Yeah, I mean, never in my wildest dreams did I expect in these 3 games I would be coming here and talking about Gallant playing the kids. Literally thought no chance. The way he's been coaching since he's been a Ranger, he's very vet. He leans on the vets, but he's given them a shot. I'd like a little more of a shot, but I'm not going to complain when they're producing and he's throwing them out there. Speaking of Trouba, so Andreas Athanasiou in the last game against Chicago, Trouba destroyed him at the blue line, the offensive blue line, laid him out. After the game, a bunch of the Blackhawk players were upset. Obviously, Trouba got in 2 fights that game. I think Max Domi said something like, I don't have anything to say about that guy, and just kind of shook his head. Players don't like him when they're on the other teams. They think he's out to hurt people. So Athanasiou says that guy is known for hitting high, not really worrying about the puck out there and almost trying to hurt people. That's his game. That's what he does. He's an $8 million man with 0 goals. So he has to figure out how to do something when making that much. If you can't help the team, I guess you try to hurt guys on the other team. That's what he said to the media. Trouba scores a goal last night, and then you all saw it. He says to Athanasiou, you want the puck? Hey, you want the puck? You can read his lips right on the screen.
I saw Trouba say that, but I thought he was talking to like whoever got the assist on it or something. I thought, no, Zibanejad gave him that drop, and I thought it was like Zibanejad's 400th assist or something. And he was saying to him, you want the puck. And then Callahan explained it, and I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah. And then after the game, they interview him, and they said, did you really ask him if he wanted the puck? And he said, he just laughed, and he's like, well, if he wants it, he could have it. And then he left it there. So Trouba gets the last word on that. But Coach, so that's good that Trouba did that. But what about the hit? What about the hit on Heedle by Lafferty? That knocks Heedle out of the game. Kind of a lack of a response there.
Can I just say something about Trouba hitting high? I mean, he's saying he has this reputation of hurting people, but he's not getting penalized for it. Knock wood. So they're not illegal hits in the eyes of the league. I'm sure after these hits that he did last year, the league must have said to the referees, keep an eye on it, and he's still not getting penalized. So I don't understand where the players, they have that fear, and that's what he's trying to do as a defenseman, which I love. So it's not like it's Marchand getting suspended once a year. He's got that reputation. Yeah, he's got a reputation of hitting. The guy's 6'6". Of course, he's going to hit high. If most guys are 6'1", it's generally high, but he's not hitting him in elbows in the head. So
Well,
I disagree with that. I mean, obviously, I'm a fan of his. If it was the other team, maybe I'd think a little different. But that's the fact. He's not getting penalized.
we'll let Little Ed go. What do you think of it? I mean, we beat this dead horse last year, but it's still an issue apparently.
Yeah, I mean, until he gets penalized for it, until he gets suspended, I don't see an issue with it. I mean, they're obviously looking at the hits. I mean, other guys around the league are getting fined and suspended all the time. So I think it's good. I mean, not to bring up Mikey Berdusi's favorite player while he's driving home to try and hop on with us, but Revo just laid somebody out on the Red Wings the other night, and that was some people say that's a questionable hit too, but I mean, that was a clean hit also. I mean, it's hockey. If you're going to skate through the ice with your head down, it's going to happen. And they just got to stay off the tracks. Trouba's going to keep doing it. And I didn't get a chance to comment on him talking that smack. I love that. And just because he's able to back it up, and you know what? Like, he's not getting paid $8 million to score a ton of goals as a defenseman. I mean, that might have been the way he played on the Jets, but we've gone over that a million times. If he's going to keep hitting like that, scoring every once in a while, being mentors to the young defensemen, especially Schneider, and obviously being the captain. I mean, there's a huge whatever value in just being the Rangers captain right now. And it shows with this 7-game winning streak.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely overpaid at $8 million, but it's not hurting us right now. So
there's very few players in the NHL that are not overpaid.
Well,
if you really look at it,
there's a lot of underpaid players too, but I think
it's not to me, that's not the issue. He's getting $8 million and he's playing. He's not sleeping.
It's an issue if it affects the cap. I mean, right now we're fitting everyone in.
It will eventually, yeah.
Right. We didn't have any cap casualties really except Buchnevich, but that wasn't Trouba's fault. That was just, looking forward. They could have signed Buchnevich last year and withstood.
Either way, a player like, I can't even say his name. What is it?
Athanasiou.
Either way, that's not what he's thinking when he's chirping him that. He's not thinking like, oh, yeah, he's overpaid because of the cap and blah, blah, blah. He's just thinking like, oh, you don't have any goals. But like, that's not really a good $8 million. You have no goals. Yeah, that's not really a good chirp, in my opinion.
It's a dumb chirp because he's a defenseman. It's like
exactly.
At most they would to 10 goals anyway. It's like, yeah. So he has 0 goals 20 games in. It was a dumb chirp. I'm glad Trouba did that also. So, the thing with the Hedl hit though. So Lafferty comes in. Hedl makes a pass cross ice. He's standing at the goal line. He's puck watching. He doesn't protect himself, and Lafferty comes in. Even Callahan said it on the broadcast, like at least a full second after the puck was gone. And comes up high with the hit, knocks Hedl back into the boards. Could have easily been a hit to the head or boarding or any number of penalties. Nothing called. No supplemental discipline. I don't really care about that. But what I do care about is I didn't see any real response from the Rangers. But maybe, Coach, I don't know if you're already going to say this, but maybe they just figured let's run up the score, and that's our response.
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm talking about the hit. I said it last time he got hurt when he had that collision. Forget what team it was, against Colorado, where the guy kind of clipped him. He's not aware of what's going on the ice. He makes that pass and he's just staring at it. He doesn't see that guy coming at him to duck or to step aside and take a little less of a hit. I mean, was it a late hit? To me, it was marginal. Obviously, the refs didn't see it as a late hit, and they didn't get disciplined. He didn't get disciplined. So again, talking about Trouba's hits, guy finished his check. He's got to be aware of what's going on the ice. That's his 3rd injury where he's not aware of what's coming at him or what's going on.
Yeah, he definitely has to be. You got to protect yourself out there. You know, I mean, but it was definitely a high hit though. That was not a clean hit.
It was marginal.
Came up high, And Lafferty's shorter than Heedle. His elbow came up, hit him right under the chin.
All right, so they reviewed it. He didn't get suspended. The refs didn't
No.
call a penalty. So what else do you want?
It was a late hit, if anything. I mean, I think it was
A little
marginal
late,
as far
maybe,
as
but it's a finish that goes on all game. Late hits, finishing the check. I see Blade do it all game.
yeah.
The guy, defenseman sends it around. Blade's like a second and a half. Boom, he bangs the guy. But the guy's ready for the hit. You have to be prepared.
Yeah, either
That
way, it's in the
I agree.
Yeah,
I
either
agree
way,
with
it's an NHL hit. Whether it's a penalty or not, you have to be prepared for it for sure.
Well, listen, I mean, you can
Especially
say
a
that
player
all,
like that. Sorry, especially a player like that who's trying to prove something, probably because he is a little smaller. He's on the Blackhawks. You know
yeah,
what
I mean, you can say that it was a finishing his check thing, but Lafferty was out there all game wreaking havoc. All I was saying watching this game was just get out of this game with no more injuries. Like I just don't want anyone else to get injured.
And he's
It
the
felt
one
like-
he clipped Shesterkin too, didn't he?
Yeah, he clips Shesterkin.
I was a little surprised that no one went after him at that point. The game
No one
was
went
not
after
out
him.
of hand, but we had the game. I thought
Yeah, it's
someone
like-
should have went after him.
You're up, at the time Heedle got hit, it was 3-1 Rangers. Let's say it's 5-1. Shesterkin gets clipped. What if Shesterkin goes down there and is out for the year in a 5-1 lead against Chicago because this guy is running around, wreaking havoc like that? You can't let someone do that. You have to police that. And they traded Reeves. I get it. I know Mike would say, well, you should have kept Reeves, right? But at the same time, there's other guys that can do that. Gaudreau, could fight Lafferty, Trouba. There's a number of players on this team that could fight. So it didn't have to be a guy like Reeves out there. Honestly, Reeves wouldn't even have done anything because he's so much bigger than Lafferty that he wouldn't even have fought Lafferty.
Right.
What's he going to do? Square off against another heavyweight? Like, what is that message does that send? Someone needed to kick the shit out of Lafferty.
Well,
That's
that's
what
where
needed to
that's where Strom is at that level. He would have went at it with him, He's
Strom
at
would have
that
even
size.
definitely.
He's at
Gaudreau.
that
Strom would have
size.
fought. Strom would have fought Lafferty
Or
100%.
even Goudreau.
Yeah,
I'm
I would
surprised
be
Gaudreau didn't do
surprised.
anything.
The next Chicago game, do they play? They play him one more time, right? Well, that's it.
Not till next year.
Oh shit! I was gonna say the next one's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it is. But Little Ed, I mean, so Heedle gets knocked out of the game. He's back tonight, though. They tweeted out today. He's good to go. He's in the lineup. So we can say pretty certain that it wasn't a concussion. Is that fair?
I think that's pretty fair to say. I mean, how many days was that? What was that? What game was that?
It was
Sunday
Sunday
night.
night? 2 days.
Sunday night. Sunday night.
Yeah,
only 2
so
days.
I would say it's pretty fair to say it wasn't a concussion. Probably just got rattled a little bit. At that point, what was the score? It was pretty late in the game. The score was pretty high, so there's no reason to play him. So it was probably just more of like a safety measure, or there's no reason to keep playing your.
It was 3-1 at the time. It
It
wasn't.
was only
it wasn't
three.
out of
It was
hand.
only 3-1. All right. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, even so, like maybe if the Blackhawks scored to make it 3-2, he would have came back out. But the Rangers were kind of rolling at that point, so there's really no reason for him to play. So yeah, I mean, like I said, he probably just got a little rattled, and he definitely has a bump shoulder, so I'm sure it probably didn't feel great on his shoulder. I mean, he has a history of shoulder injuries. I mean, I know personally that's not easy to deal with. Like you get hit anywhere and you feel it in your shoulder a little bit, so it's probably just precaution.
Especially those wings. He's got no muscle on those wings.
Exactly. So it's definitely precaution, and he probably took the day off from practice, and he's back. So
Did
good for
they
him.
actually say it was concussion, possibly? Because I thought he grabbed his chest. I saw
They
him
said
like
upper
skating
body.
off. Yeah, I saw him going off and like holding like his
I think that-
clavicle.
That was a cousin net speculation.
Oh, okay.
Well, it looked. I mean, his head hit the boards. The elbow hit like under his
Nah,
chin.
he did go back. He did go back. If his
But
head
I
hit
just-
the ice, it definitely could have been a concussion. But I didn't know.
I just worry. I worry with Heedle because he's already had 2 concussions. He had a concussion earlier this year when he got clipped with that BS elbow. He missed like 5 games because of that, or what was it? 8 games against Columbus when that guy came by and just kind of threw his elbow and knocked him in the head when he wasn't looking.
Right.
And he had one other concussion in his career prior to that. So he's already had 2 concussions, and then this one would have been a second concussion within 2 months. I mean, that's worrisome. That's part of the game. I get it, but
If he
he's coming on.
if he doesn't start learning to see what's coming, he's not going to have a long career. That's the bottom
Agreed.
line.
No, I agree. He's got to protect himself better, even if it's just throw your stick up. The guy's coming to put your stick up.
Without a doubt.
Boom,
Even
right in
that
his
one,
mouth.
even
That's
that one
it.
against Columbus. That's the team I forgot who it was. He could have protected himself on that if he saw the guy coming. He could have like just jabbed the guy or threw his elbow up, but he doesn't even he doesn't feel it. He's like so zoned in on what's going on at that moment. He doesn't see what's around him.
Yeah, yeah. He's like looking where the puck is and what kind of play just happened. But so we'll see. I mean, Hedo's back tonight. Let's see how he looks. Hopefully he's okay because that line is buzzing and we're gonna need him against Pittsburgh. So the other thing, I thought we should address, and Coach, we kind of talked about this the other day. The second period line change. So for fans out there that watch the game casually, you see the team, change on the fly. In the second period, it's a long change. It's harder for the defenseman to make a change. And what the strategy is in the second period to be effective in regards to a line change, right? So, Coach, what have you been seeing with that, particularly over the last few games, but just generally throughout the season, and why that's important?
Well, I think just first clear up when you say a long change, you don't mean time wise, you mean distance wise.
Correct.
To get back into your defensive zone is a longer distance, so you have to be smart about the change. And obviously, because of that, the offensive teams, the opponents, are trying to cycle more and do the right thing in their offensive zone, so you can't make that change as effectively. So there's a couple of things that have to happen. The team has to be smart as far as getting it out into the neutral zone, dumping the puck in to the opposite side and getting that change, so you can make that change a little more efficiently. But it's not an easy thing to do, especially at that level. These guys are so skilled, and when they cycle the puck, you start skating around after them. You lose it quick. The stops and starts, like we said last time, wear you down, and then all of a sudden it's in there a minute, and then you can't move, and then they're making their ozone change, and it just snowballs. But it goes for the Rangers and against them, like we had talked about. The Rangers had one good one against Toronto as well. And it's just something that's definitely a factor in the game. It's kind of a cat and mouse.
Yeah, a little Ed. I mean, you're seeing the same things, right?
Yeah, I mean, both teams have to go through it. It's definitely tough. I mean, as a defensive coach, you brought up it's a really difficult change for the defenseman to make. I mean, I try and tell our defensemen, or I've always been taught, and I even try and say it to our men's league team, is like to change one at a time at least. So like the defenseman, if you could picture it on the rink, the defenseman closest to the bench should go off first. And then the far defenseman should slide over to be the closest defenseman. The guy getting on should take that left-handed defenseman or the left defenseman spot. So it's kind of like a rotation. So you're at least closer to the door and you can cheat a little bit by jumping on a little early. I mean, as long as the puck's not in the area, you could definitely get away with a little bit more in that aspect. But I mean, I think the important thing, even for the forwards too, is to change one at a time, so you don't get caught on the back check, and the defenseman too on the forecheck. You don't get caught on a quick turnaround, and then there's no one back there in the neutral zone, and it can turn ugly real quick.
I mean,
yeah, and it's about,
especially, I'm sorry, Ed, especially when you're at the game, like you'll hear the fans going, "What are they doing? Why are they going for a change?" They don't even realize what's going on, but they have to make that change at that point where one guy will just be holding their D behind the net. And that's why they're doing it usually.
Yeah.
Either a player
100%.
match, or they need to get that change while they can and not be caught. So it's a nuance in the game that's very important. And I think I forget who I was watching. Also, the coach, I think it was Rupper, said that when he played for Tortorella, he used to do drills just based on line changing very often, not just now and then. Because
we used to do that with our travel teams. We haven't really done that much with our
we don't have enough practice time, so it's a little difficult to get everything in an hour a week. So it is hard.
For sure. Coach Mike, my friend, actually ran a good drill. We should do that more often. It was a cycling drill with changing one at a time in the offensive zone. I know we went over that. That's not really the same subject, but there's plenty of drills that you could run. It sounds stupid as a coach or as a player to do line change drills, but I mean, it's a huge part of the game. I mean, the casual fan asks all the time, like, how come hockey players change so often? Like basketball players don't do that, soccer players. It's like a huge part of the game is mastering that line change. And if you get caught, you get a too many men penalty, or you get caught with an odd man rush, like I just talked about. I mean, line changes are a big thing, and it's definitely worth practicing.
Yeah, and I think that with just in the recent weeks, we've discussed this. Little Ed, I think you brought up the need for the offensive zone change to sustain pressure. Even more imperative in the second period, right? If you're sustaining pressure offensively, change the D. Get the D out, because once you go back the other way, you never know when you're going to move up again to get the line change.
Yeah,
And the forwards as well, one at a time. So I noticed it in the Toronto game. Coach, you actually brought it up, but I did notice it in the Toronto game. Braden Schneider had this amazing shift where he blocked 3 shots. And he finally is the one who cleared the zone. He didn't even look tired until he got to the bench. So he didn't show it on the ice, but it was like a 3-minute shift.
That's ridiculous.
And that is the risk. That is why it's important, right? I mean, imagine it's not Braden Schneider, a 20-year-old buck, out there sucking it up for 3 minutes, but it's somebody else. What if it's Ben Harper? What if it's Trouba, right? That's a different shift all of a sudden. What if it's, obviously a guy like Kako or Laffy can probably do it better than, an older guy. But yeah, it's an important part of the game, and it could be a turning point. And I feel like the Rangers have struggled in second periods all season. And I noticed also, Coach, I wanted to say this before we move on. Panarin, we criticized his game a lot this year. And I think in second periods, he needs to dump it in more so than ever. We talked about it in the third period, but now I'm thinking in the second, because there's a few times where he's breaking out at the red line. Let's say he's got the puck. He's approaching the red line. Defensemen are going for a change. Second period, long change. So they're like, oh, let's go get a change. They're trying to get a head start. He makes a cross-size pass. It's intercepted, and then it's a 2-on-1 the other way. Guys are off balance. I noticed that a few times in these games.
Again, he's got to be a player of his caliber should be aware of that, how long the puck was in your zone, what you need to do. And look, he's a phenomenal passer. He makes that backhand pass cross ice sometimes. I'm like, how did he even see that? But he's got to play it, like I've said over and over. If he dumps it in a few times, that backhand pass is going to be open even more because the D starts to cheat.
Yeah.
It's all part of the cat and mouse, setting up the next play. He can if he dumps it in 5 times out of 6 in the first period, they're going to go, okay, he's going to dump it in. And then all of a sudden the blue line's open. It's like a basic fundamental of hockey.
It's an interesting thing, because when you talk about Artemi Panarin and you talk about hockey awareness, you really need to break down the different types of awareness to analyze him, because you can't just say hockey awareness, he's great. That's
true.
It's too general, right? Like offensive awareness, he's one of the best in the game. Knowing where a guy is, knowing how to thread a pass, seeing the ice through the peripheral vision, all that. He's one of the best in hockey. But hockey game awareness, like you just said, knowing, oh, we were just pinned and Hayek's going for a change. I need to dump this in so that we can change the D. This rush, I need to dump it in. That kind of awareness, he doesn't have it. That was
spoiler alert. This might be part of my Secret Santa exchange.
We didn't even tell the fans about the Secret Santa exchange.
Yeah, we should definitely. We can't not tease it, but yeah, give them something to look forward to in this episode.
Sorry, I took your gift away. But yeah, look, overall, not a lot to complain about, not even for me, and I'm the biggest complainer on this podcast. And
but in the last 3 or 4 games, he's been noticeably doing a lot better.
Yes, and more than that, I think. In this run.
Whatever, in this whole rush, yeah. And we talked about that too. He's got to buy in. He's got to buy in to play the game the way it needs to be played. Pick spots. It can't be every time, and he's doing it now. And I think I'm not blaming it all on him or giving him all the credit, but it's part of it.
So, Coach, against Philly,
making a huge difference.
A 6-3 win against Philly. Take a guess how many minutes Lafreniere played.
11.
No, 12:28. Kako 11:26. Hedel 12:46. Guess how much VC played?
14.
17:04.
Wow.
17
Look,
minutes.
I don't really want to.
Mikey.
I don't really want to argue this labor over this argument, but I think he's playing real well. So
No, he is playing well. Absolutely. I'm very
I
happy
think
with
he's been
decent
playing. I think he's been playing well all year. Does he deserve first line? I'll give you that argument, but he's playing very well. He plays smart defensively. He plays smart at all zones of the ice. So if he's getting 3 or 4 more minutes than them, he's a veteran. He might deserve it. I don't know. I think again that's an in game. If he's giving the puck away four times, I'm sure Gallant's not going to be giving him 17 minutes. He's going to feel that. He's going to sit him a little bit, not bench him, but he's going to. The other kids will get more. He's going to go with feel. When
Yeah,
you're
no,
on the bench,
I was
look.
just
When you're on, I know you're egging me on. When you're on again with the coaching, you could go by all the analytics you want. Same thing in baseball. They go by all analytics. This guy's what he does with 2 strikes. But when you're in a game, the coach is feeling what's going on. He's seeing that player sweat. He's seeing this. He's seeing that. That's the eye. That's where the eye test comes in big. At that moment.
In fairness, I literally brought that up just to buy some time for Mikey to get on. What's up, Mikey?
No, that really bothers you. Don't say that.
No, it does, but I was just trying to fill some time so we could do the Secret Santa when Mikey got on.
I'm gonna assume this is on Jimmy VC we're talking about.
Yeah. So also, ironically, in that, and it's not ironically. Damn, that
Who
is
got
my
the
favorite.
number 1 star of the game against one of the best teams in the league? But go ahead.
Little Ed is right. I do overuse ironically. So weirdly, okay, not ironically, but weirdly, the most ice time of forwards in that Philly game, Barclay Goodrow with 19 minutes and 24 seconds. Zibanejad at 19:08, and
He
VC
played
was
real well,
third.
too.
He played more than Panarin, more than Trocheck, and more than Kreider.
Well, he probably had a good amount of penalty kill
Yeah,
time
they must
as
have
well.
been killing. Yeah, they were 4 power plays for Philly, so that's probably why. All right. So, Mikey, you're here just in time for Coach Ed's gift exchange. little holiday spirit here, the Rangers Ed boys. Here's what we're gonna do. We were each assigned one player to give a gift to in like a Secret Santa style. Just one attribute about their game that would make them a better player, or if you want to be funny about it, go ahead. We each assigned one guy, and then we're going to do just a quick little rapid fire where we just pass it off to each other, completely unprepared, and let's see what comes out. All right, you guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, so we'll start with Coach Ed because he's the star of the show. Everybody knows that. Philip Hedl. Give Philip Hedl a gift. Coach Ed.
A jaw of stone.
A jaw of stone.
So what does that mean?
Care to
That
expand?
means he'll be able to take a hit, not get a concussion, or get knocked down. He must have played soccer as a youth.
I mean, he probably did.
I mean, he's got to put on the muscle. I want him to build up. I'm going to give him. Let me better this. I'm going to give him
personal trainer.
I was going to say I'm going to give him a free membership, a year membership to Gold's Gym.
A year supply of whey protein.
Coach, though, honestly, don't you think that Hedl going into the offseason this year, that has to be his focus, is getting stronger? Just a little bit.
We said it about Kravtsov, not when he was getting hurt a couple of times in the beginning of the year. The rest
of his game has progressed so much. That's the one part.
I'm not going to deny that. I'm giving it to him. He's moving out there. He's hitting the net more. He's back checking more. I'm very happy the way he's buzzing around right now. But you got to be able to get through 10 games without getting hurt.
All right, so a 1-year membership to Gold's Gym. who wants to follow that one?
I'll go next since I already teased it.
So little Ed, Artemi Panarin, give him a gift.
I'm going with, I thought about this earlier today because, I mean, you guys are already talking about it. It's hard to put a name or put a title on it. I'm going with situational awareness. So he's got to be aware of, like you said, whether if the team is getting stuck in the defensive zone for too long, he's got to know that it's a 3-1 game with 6 minutes left in the third period. He's got to know if he's been on the ice for too long. He's got to know who he's passing to. If the other guy on the other side of the ice is a lefty or a righty, he might not be able to catch that cross ice pass, whatever, as hard as he passes it, whatever the case may be. So just in general, situational awareness, because it's not a hockey IQ thing. It's not an offensive awareness. It's not really a defensive awareness, because in the defensive zone, he does play very well. He makes little sneaky plays on the wall. He gets the puck out of the zone. He has very few turnovers on the wall. It's really when he makes that bad pass across ice where he turns the puck over. So I'm going to go with situational awareness for Artemi Panarin. Happy holidays.
So I really did steal that from you then. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's it. I mean, I agree. 100% agree. All right. So Mikey Produces. Dude, this is a guy you've spoken highly of. But
Certainly, and
let's see. Take him to the next step, next level of his game. Capo Caco.
so I feel like the only thing that is missing, and what I would give Capo Caco as a gift this year for Christmas, would be hit stick ability. I want to see him, throw the body in the open ice, really lay somebody out. I think that's the only thing that he hasn't done. And I think that would get the crowd going, get him going. That'd be awesome.
He's a beefy kid. He's a strong player, but yeah, he doesn't really have any aggression to his game. So he has that potential if he can develop that, for sure.
He's someone that did put it on the sides in the offseason when he needed to. And I prefer him laying a defenseman out in the corner or behind the net or something, I think.
Just a little more physicality to his game. He definitely can forecheck. He forechecks well. He controls the puck, all those things. But physically, yeah, he's not intimidating.
Or just aggressiveness or aggression.
Like I said in earlier episodes, he's kind of like, he's got like a beta personality. He's very quiet and very like, he's not an alpha dog. Like Laffy is more of an alpha, I feel like, out there. All right. So who's gonna bring me in?
Because I think you get Coach Gallant as your Secret Santa this year.
Of course I do. So other than a new mug, which I'll leave that alone. Other than a new mug, because we went from David Quinn to Gallant, Coach. I mean, you gotta admit it's a drop off.
Quinn was like a Gentleman's Quarterly cover shot.
Yeah, exactly. so we go from Quinn to Gallant, but
Gallant looks like with his jacket size and the way it hangs on him, he's like an usher at the Garden.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would do is first for a stock.
Usher at the Garden.
What
about his tie too? He ties his tie way too tight.
I love him. You guys know I love him, but it's just like, you're the coach of the New York Rangers. You have to be, you're getting these suits for free. They're dressing you. Come on. They need to get, you know what the gift should be? Getting Lundqvist to give him a wardrobe.
Coach is going again, apparently. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Save it for the rapid fire.
So first for a stocking stuffer, I'm gonna get him some Afrin, just to clear his nose out, because he sniffs every other word.
Oh yeah.
Press conference. He's like, yeah, I think the guys were doing pretty good, and so I don't know what's going on with him.
It's probably a little nervous. It's a little nervous affliction.
Okay, yeah. Well, now I feel bad.
He has I think he has like a tick.
Now I feel bad. All right, so he's got a tick. Forget it. But I'm still gonna give him the Afrin because it might be medical. But I would just give him a little more confidence in the kids to produce. Just trust the kids. Play them. That's it. Because I think as a coach, I tried to really analyze this because I've been so hard on him, and I'm hard on every coach, and I got some perspective. So I tried to think about this, and I was like, why wouldn't he just do it? And honestly, he's playing for his job every game, right? I mean, he's coaching the team to win games, and if they don't win, he gets fired. So yeah, it's hard to trust an unknown. But I think these kids are in their early 20s now. They've been in the league a few years. Like, just let them go, let them play, let them fail. If they fail, then fine, they failed. but you got to at least give him the opportunity. And I think he needs, as a coach, to have confidence in them. And honestly, in these games, he showed a little bit. So hopefully that continues, and I'll be very happy. But other than that, that's the one gift I would give him if I could.
How about Kako getting real comfortable in that off wing shot?
His shot improved a lot.
He's got a couple of goals like that where he's tapping his stick for that off wing.
Coach, I got to say about Kako, he's got to be a coach's dream, though. He works really hard. You can tell every season he's gotten better. He's worked all off season. There's videos and pictures of him working out, working on his game, trying to improve.
I never took that away from him. I said that all along, that his character and his attitude is very mature.
It's going to start going in for him.
Yeah.
It's already. He's up to 8 goals already.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he got that
bunches.
That BS.
So I think this might be it.
He got that BS empty netter against what was that? Against Philly.
No, they didn't give that to. They didn't give that to him, I don't think.
Yeah, they did. They gave it to Lindgren, and then they took it away and gave it to Kako.
Oh, they did?
I didn't know that either.
All right. So let's do the rapid fire. We're all unprepared. I'm gonna let Mikey produce these for all his efforts in editing these episodes. I'm gonna let you start. So you got to pick one of us, and a player, a coach, whatever, something Rangers related, for us to give a gift to, and then we're gonna go quick.
Coach, you get Trocheck.
Trocheck. What do I give Trocheck? I don't know. He's got it all. He's got the look. He's got the goatee. He's got the tenacity.
Apparently,
he's got the Italian grandmother.
Yeah, apparently he's got the Italian grandmother cooking dinner for the whole team tonight.
Is he? Is she?
Yeah. It was last night. It was last night
in Pittsburgh. Yeah, he's from Pittsburgh, so they all went to his house in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
All right. Well,
come on, it's got to be something.
I'm trying to think. I mean,
Coach
he's got net front presence.
He could use a couple inches. Why don't you throw a couple inches his way?
Give him a little height. Give him another 3-4 inches and another 15 pounds, and he'll be
unstoppable.
Yeah,
Trocheck's a tough one because Trocheck's tough because he's like pretty good at everything. He's not like great at anything.
He's pretty complete player.
All right, toss it to someone else, Coach.
Toss it to someone else. I'm gonna go with cousin Ed, Sammy Blay.
I'll give Sammy Blay a little bit of foot speed because he's got the size. He's got pretty good hands. I think what holds him back is he's not quick enough really to move beyond a 4th line role. So I'll give him foot speed. All right, little Ed. I'm gonna go to you, and I'm gonna go with your boy, Laffy.
Laffy? Oh man! All right, Laffy. I love his forechecking ability. I'm gonna go with unselfishness. I think he's got to hold on to the puck a little bit longer. Not necessarily hold on to the puck a little bit longer because he does make quick decisions. That's good, but I want to see him shoot a little bit more.
So you want to give him selfishness?
Selfishness, yeah.
Yes. Take his unselfishness away. So give him selfishness a little bit. I know that's a bad word to use.
No, it's all right there. I agree.
Yeah, because I know we were talking about it the other night where he gave that little dish where it looked unintentional, but I think it was definitely intentional to Hedl in the slot.
I agree. That was a great.
No, it was intentional, but it wasn't like whatever.
It would have been nice if the defenseman didn't make the play on him. But either way, that's not a good example because I don't think he was going to be able to shoot in that aspect. But just whatever. Yeah, selfishness to be able to just take a few more because he has a great shot. And I think he'd definitely make some noise if he used it a little bit more.
All right, toss it.
I'm going to toss it over. I guess we'll just keep it even. We'll go over to Mikey Produces, and I'll go with Jimmy Vesey.
Jimmy V. Jimmy V. What would I give Jimmy V? I'd give Jimmy V cousin's direct phone number so that they can become best friends and then Cuz would realize that this guy is the man we all talk about.
If we ever meet
All
him in
right.
the hallway, I'm gonna go. Cousin Ed's the one who doesn't like you, Jimmy. Everybody else likes you.
I like Jimmy as a fourth liner. Toss it.
I'm gonna give it to Cousin. And I'm gonna go with Keandre Miller.
Nice.
So for Miller,
Wait, can't we all like give a little something when you pick the guy? Because I have a couple. I want to give Laffy something too.
well, we can toss it back to you with Laffy.
All right.
So with Keandre, I think for me, I love his game, but I think just a little more patience. I feel like he jumps the gun a little bit. He gets caught. And he's got the foot speed to get back and recover, but it's oftentimes I'm like, and then he makes the play with that long reach. But if you have to hear from Sam the long reach of Keandre Miller 4 times, a game, that means that he's out of position, right? I mean, so just a little bit of patience, pick his spots, and use that talent he's got when it's the right time to do it. That's what I would say.
I mean, not
All
to,
right, Coach.
Again, not to harp on it, but he did become a defenseman late, and wherever he played, he probably dominated the way he's playing. And now he's got to learn the NHL game.
He is.
That doesn't happen overnight. Like with any other offensive player, the same thing. So he probably dominated in college, dominated at the USA national team, because of his skill and size. And now you're at a different level. So it's a learning curve.
All right, Coach. I'm giving you Laffy.
Facial hair. We make a run in the playoffs. We're gonna have the worst playoff beards in history. Heedle's got nothing.
Got the worst.
Laffy's got nothing. Blaze got nothing. These guys got nothing.
They did have a run in the playoffs last year, and no one really had a beard except
they
for
had
Lindy.
nothing.
Goody grows a nice one.
Goody had a decent one.
It's not a very good looking
Trocheck will
team.
have the Jack Sparrow this year.
It's not a very good looking team. It's really not. There's a couple. Schneider is the pretty boy of the team.
He's got no facial hair either. They got nothing.
He won't. He will one day. All right.
Kako's got nothing.
Pass the buck, Coach.
All right. I'll go to Little Ed, and I'll go with. I'll give him a tough one. I'll go with Foxy.
Fox. Yikes. All right.
Another guy with no facial hair.
if they're gonna continue to use him on the penalty kill, he's gonna need some penalty kill ability if you want to go with that. I don't really know what's really wrong with his game in terms of the penalty kill. I just think he kind of goes down to block a pass and just misses. So I feel like he should just focus on maybe covering the open man or just being more aware of where he is. And I don't know. I feel like he always goes to block that pass or get in the way. He worries too much about the puck. So I think he needs more awareness of where the people are on the ice as opposed to just worrying about where the puck is at all times. So I'll just say penalty killing ability.
I mean, he's a tough one to give it to, but that's not bad.
I'm gonna go with Cousin Ed, Chris Drury.
Chris Drury. Oh God.
What does he need going into the mid-season or even into the trade deadline?
So not as what the Rangers need or what he should go get, but just as a GM.
What mindset, I guess. What kind of mindset? I don't know.
I think he's got to be a little bit tougher in negotiations to get some deals with these restricted free agents we have. He hasn't been very, very good in free agency, but I don't want any cap casualties. So get Heedle locked up, get Laffy locked up, get Miller locked up, and be tough in that in a way that makes them feel you're confident in them, but you're getting a deal. So just end up with deals on those contracts and I'll be happy. All right, 2 more and then we're done. I'm going to go to Mikey. I'm going to go with Mika Zibanejad.
Nice.
Mikis. So I would give Mika the phone number to the best barber in NYC. Give him a nice high fade. He could keep the long hair. But a nice high fade kind of hides the ponytail, a little aerodynamic on the ice there.
Nice mullet.
Yeah, even that. I wouldn't mind it. All right, let's go to coach, and we're gonna give him Igor.
Igor, I noticed he got a little haircut going. Um, I want to give Igor. I want to give Igor a couple of goals.
Yeah, I love
Nice.
that.
That's nice.
He's gonna get one in his career for sure.
I
It's
want him to
coming.
get a nice goal. That would really, if he scores, talk about the team coming together. They're going to go nuts.
Why don't we send Igor a Rangers Ed headband?
Ooh.
Why don't we let's get that made, Long Island Hockey Company, get them on. We'll get the Rangers Ed logo. We'll do it in letters across, and we'll just mail it to Igor and just see if he uses it.
See
You
if
know, you
he's-
used to be able to, when I was a kid, you used to do that. You used to send the hockey card. I think I talked about it last year. The hockey card or a photo, and you'd mail it to the player, care of Madison Square Garden, and some of
And
them
they
would
sign
sign
it.
it and send it back.
Yep.
sure you could still do that. I don't know if they'll actually do it or not anymore, but
Yep. No, so I like that for Igor.
So we can maybe
Um,
do that. Send it to him. I'm sure he gets fan mail.
Well, let's think about it. We'll talk to the Long Island Hockey Company. We'll see if it's doable. All right, so that's the end of Coach Ed's gift exchange. That was fun. I hope obviously everybody has a happy holiday, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. But let's move into our stars of the week. All right. So, Coach Ed, tough one this week. There's a lot of great plays and good performances. Offensive player of the week.
Well, Panarin obviously had a nice 5-point, Trocheck a nice 5-point, but I got to give it to VC most noticeable in that Toronto game. That was a big win in a game where it was could have went the other way, and he made a statement. The whole team made a statement, but he got real. That was a great move, and very humble about it too. He's just a good kid.
Did you see post game when he got the #1 star of that game?
Yeah,
And he was standing there and he was like standing in the wrong spot. So somebody was like, "Hey, move over here" or something. They just like shuffled him over out of the way so the #2 star could come off the ice and go to the locker room. And he turns around to the camera and he goes, "I've done this before," and like makes it's like telling him like I've been a star of the game before. So, all right. So Jimmy VC 3 goals in these 3 games, including 2 game-winning goals. So I like that, Coach. Little Ed, offensive.
I'm going with VC also. I think he stepped up big. He even had a goal in the Philly game too. So
that Philly game could have went either way. His goal was big in that game.
yeah, for sure. He's definitely
I think it
stepping
was
up.
a
He's
game-
playing real well.
I think it was a game winner as well.
Yeah, we
he
talked
had
a lot
2.
about it before, so I'm not going to go too into it, but I mean, I'll bring it up again. It was a big thing on that All or Nothing show where they focus. I felt bad for him because they focused so much on him, and they showed Sheldon Keefe and Dubas talking about him like behind the scenes, and like it's like weird because he doesn't know they're talking about him, and then now he probably saw it on like the final cut of the show. So like he was out for vengeance that game, and he capitalized, and he was able to step up big. I know it was at home, but to be able to step up big against like your old team who literally just like tossed you out to the wolves,
I gotta
be able to
watch
step
that. They
up and-
really did. They really did
Dude.
that on camera.
they went after him, and then they even showed him like FaceTiming his family, like, yeah, I'm going through a tough time here. And like his dad was telling him, like, nah, just stick with it, you'll be all right. Like they showed everything. It was crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, you guys definitely gotta check it out. Fans, check it out. It's on Amazon. If you have a membership, you
So
get it
that's
for
why
free.
he was. So that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, he was out for vengeance, and like for you to say like he didn't even celebrate, he just went about his business, and that shows even more about his character as well. So
now we got to channel. We got to get the guy who coached Bobby Boucher to have him picture Toronto every time he's out there.
yeah,
That was Fonzie.
Gatorade H2O.
they showed him
Right.
on the ice with
Picture
Keith,
Toronto's logo every time you play.
like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they had him on the ice talking to Keith in practice, where like they show him from like really far away, but you hear what they're saying. And Keith is basically like, yeah, to be honest with you, I just don't see a spot for you on this team. Like digging after him, like some like pretty hardcore stuff. So definitely check it out. For
Well,
sure.
that's definitely, I'm happy for him if that is the case. That's awesome.
That's what I mean.
All
It was
right,
it was great.
Mikey, offensive.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Jimmy V.
Jimmy.
All right, so I'm going to be the only one that disagrees. I went Capo Caco, 2 goals, 2 assists in these games, and I want to give him the offensive player. All right, defensive player of the week. We'll go to Little Ed.
I'm going with Chesty for the 1 goal in each game that he played in this stretch. He's back to himself. His numbers are going back up to where they should be, or where we thought that they would be. And I said it, shout out to Alex Garrett for having me on his podcast last week. I thought that was really cool. But I said it last week where I called it that by mid-season or even by the end of the season, he's going to be right up at there, the top 3 in Vezina conversation.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So you were actually on the guy's podcast, right?
Yeah, it was really cool. Shout out to Alex again. I mean, he's a great kid. He's trying to work. He's working really hard with his social media and getting some content out there. So I did a little guest spot, 20 minutes. It's called Alex Garrett Sports Podcast. And yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. It sounded like a little radio show. It sounded like I was live. So that was cool. And yeah, so like I said, that's in a conversation by the end of the season, maybe even mid-season.
Yeah, he's creeping up there. I went with Shesterkin as well. I always forget about him. I could have went with a few different guys here, defensemen, but I think Shesterkin just was lights out in the 2 games he played, and he deserves it. All right, Mikey, defensive player.
Yeah, Igor all the way. I forget. I don't know if it was on ESPN or somebody on MSG was saying his stats as of the last like 6 games or whatever games it was, and he has like a 950 save percentage, and you see it out there. You know, he completely turned his game around and definitely deserves a defensive award.
Yeah, he's up to a 919 save percentage on the year. 2 goals against in these games on 53 shots. So, Coach, what about you?
I'm not going to take away from Igor, but I'm going with my boy Schneids, playing with yet another defensive partner, and just
and a bum at that, Coach.
Well,
and a bum.
How about the Blackhawks? Tenorti and Jack Johnson.
I
think Harper's a bum. I didn't think he played that bad.
Talk about tanking. You're gonna run Tenorti and Jack Johnson.
Wow.
There. Honestly, Jack Johnson had a few shots that were like, I was like, oh shit, he's gonna score. I knew he was gonna. I was thinking.
Sorry to get off that tangent there, but I wanted to mention that when I was watching it.
They also have Blackwell. They also have Blackwell too.
Oh, that's right. I didn't notice.
Charlie Whiskey's old favorite.
Blackie, yeah.
W.
But I'm gonna go with Schneids. I'm gonna go with Schneids, baby.
Oh, before I forget, shout out to CW. Austin is starting his hockey lessons or hockey developmental program, whatever you want to call it.
Nice.
Soon. So shout out to Austin and CW.
Looking forward to him sending a few little shots of that. I'd like to see it.
Saw that on Insta.
Yep.
I mean, Schneids didn't get the goal or the points really this time, but I just think he's again playing with another partner. I think he's very steady and he's part of the whole scheme.
Coach, I sent you the clip. I'm sure you saw it live, but I sent you the clip of that shift too. I mean, that was a 3-minute shift, and he made like 3 or 4 plays on that shift when he had to have been exhausted. I mean, that was just a great display of athleticism by Braden Schneider. So
it's it's athleticism, but it's mental capacity. Because as you get that tired, that's what Callahan said too. It's surprising that usually in that situation against Chicago, the Rangers didn't take a penalty. They're playing very disciplined in those situations because usually that's what happens in that kind of zone time. And for him to play that shows his mental strength as a 21-year-old is insane.
Yeah, and I sent you what Coach Gallant said about Schneider and a string of 1 a.m. texts, which I'm sure you all were thrilled to get buzzing at 1 a.m. But he pretty much said, like, this kid was raised right. I'm looking for the exact wording, but he said the kid grows every day. He keeps getting better and better. He just looks confident. He does the right things every day. He's a true pro at a young age. You always say, I wish every kid was like that. Not sure if it's a knock on anybody else. He prepares himself. He comes to practice. He's always prepared. He comes early in the morning. He eats the right foods. It probably came from when he was back home, his parents, the way they raised him. I can't remember once this year that I'd come after the game and said, what was Schneid's doing tonight? I don't remember being upset with his play at any time this year or last year. He's just consistent, doesn't try to do too much. Obviously, I really like the kid a lot. So, I mean, 20 years old. 20 years old, your coach says that about you. I mean, that's a great
Yeah, he stepped into the NHL and never looked back. It's just it's incredible.
I told you you'd love him when they drafted him.
I remember
said,
you
Coach, you're
said
gonna
that
love this
because I
guy.
didn't even know who he was, and you sent me a couple of videos, and I was ready. He didn't disappoint.
They should lock
He's a
him up
stud.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, they will. They will. They got another year of him on an ELC though. So
Yeah.
couple this year and next, real cheap for Schneider, and then he's gonna get paid. All right, Coach Ed, go to you. Highlight play of the week, and there's a lot. I mean,
there was so many.
we might have 4 different highlights this week.
It's got to be the Keandre goal out of the box. Got to be that one. I mean, there was
mine too.
There
Forget
was,
it. Never mind.
There was some beautiful. There was some beautiful passing. No doubt, there was a lot of good highlight plays, but that Keandre goal, that was one to talk about.
Next time Hedel gets hurt, I want them to put Miller at center with Laffy and Kako and just call up Robertson or something and play lefty. Just put Miller at center.
Yeah.
He could play center for sure.
Well, he has offensive pedigree, so
stud, complete stud. I picked the same one. That was
how about that little play? I actually forget which game it was, but it was a key play in the game where he was by the goal crease. The other team made a pass into the high slot. He reached out with his reach,
chipped it,
flipped the puck, and they went in a 2-on-1 and scored.
Yeah, he started the whole play. I remember that.
Was in Toronto.
That was Toronto.
That was on
Yeah,
VC's
Is that the
goal.
VC goal?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
It was? That was incredible. That little play that no one really. I mean, they did say it in the announcing. They showed it, but I mean, you talk about
called it.
Yeah, you talk about coaches noticing things. That's something that's you love that shit. You love that shit.
Speaking of that play, because that's my highlight, was that VC goal. I was there at the game, saw it live. Me and my dad even said it. What a play by Miller. You see him just fly up the ice and just to have that awareness not to pass the puck around that body and then just score that goal.
And he put that in like there was very little room to put that in. Short side like that. That was a beautiful goal, man. That was unbelievable.
That was a good one. It's a tough week.
He showed some hands on that. And there's plenty of other ones before we talk about him. Little Ed, make your pick before I spoil your pick.
I went with the kid line tic-tac-toe goal. Kako's goal.
It's another one. Yeah, the Kako.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Right. That was beautiful.
That
Great
was
stuff.
Unreal. All right. Well, plenty of highlights. That was what I was going to bring up. So I'm glad I didn't spoil that for you. Let's do key contributor, the Jesper Foss Key Contributor Award. I'll start since it's pretty quick. You guys made him your offensive player of the week, but I'm on with Jimmy VC on the key contributor. I think that his defensive game he's really invented himself as more of a complete player since his last time here. He's definitely a good penalty killer. He's always back making good defensive plays, and now he chipped in with a few big goals in these games. So I went with Jimmy VC. All right, we'll go to Mike. Who's your key contributor?
I'm giving it to Capo Kako for the reasons why you gave him the offensive award. Flying out there, offense, defensively. Hopefully we get to see a hit stick one play this year. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, we just flipped it. All right, Coach, who's your key contributor?
Yeah, how about having Kako out there with the empty net, VC out there with the empty net, getting it done? You were complaining last week that they're never out there at the end, Kako, and the sheer hustle, and he made that play. But I'm going to give it to Trouba. 2 goals, 1 assist. The attitude, that little play in Chicago, I loved it. I mean, even going back to when they played Chicago last time, when he had the fights and he flung his helmet, his hair was all over the place. I'm giving it to these last 3 games to him. I mean, there could have been multiple guys, just like the highlight play. Everybody's putting it down, Panarin, but I'm going to give it to Trouba. He earned it.
Yeah, he's just bringing that edge to the team for sure. He's the only one right now, and it's important. All right, Little Ed.
I'm going with my boy Johnny B. Another shout out to
Johnny.
I
shout out to CW.
I had him written down initially, and then I said, how can I, if I don't give VC an award with the highlight goal, the 3 goals, and all that, if I don't give him one of these awards, they're going to give me so much crap. So I let you guys kind of like subvert my pick. But anyway, Johnny B, why?
Shout out to CW. He texted me Saturday night, 6-0. Well, now 7-0 with Johnny B in the lineup. So everyone's leaving that part out on their 7-game win streak. Johnny B.
Nice.
Well, you know, with Brodzinski, what he brings to that fourth line is a little bit of speed. You know, I mean, the team lacked some speed. The team lacks a little bit. I mean, if they add a forward, I definitely want to add one who's quick. So he replaced Carpenter and brought a little speed. So I don't hate it. I don't hate the pick.
And again, it's his hockey awareness. He's doing the right things at the right time. That's a big thing on the fourth line.
All right. So now what everyone's been waiting for. Coach Ed's Copyright Doghouse Award. So, just a little quick history for those of you that haven't listened to the most recent episodes. In episode 84, Coach took Vitaly Kravtsov out of the doghouse merely by being inserted into the lineup and playing decently. He gets out of the doghouse. In episode 85, Gallant scratches Kravtsov for no apparent reason after a win, and Coach puts him back in the doghouse. So here we are with Kravtsov in the doghouse. Coach, is Kravtsov out of the doghouse?
I'm going to say yes. That was a highlight goal we had. That was a great play fighting off Seth Jones and getting that shot in. I believe it was the short side. He just tucked it. It was a great play.
That was an unbelievable goal. I was in the middle of watching the Giant game, and like I'm watching the game, and then I see Kravtsov on a breakaway, and I jumped up and feels like touchdown, and I was like, no, Kravtsov scored. Anyway, go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, you know, I got to, you know, he's again, the whole team's playing well. I'm gonna leave it empty this week. I can't really put even the kid Harper, the guy Harper. I thought he was playing pretty good. I know you don't like that 6th defenseman because you want Zach Jones and Nils Lundqvist back there because I know he's not here anymore. But that's the kind of guy you want back there. But
or Hayek, I prefer over Harper.
Oh, there's a reason why they did it, and so far it's working. So
it's empty.
It's empty this week.
All right, Kravtsov gets out
too.
Little Ed had it empty last week, and it's empty again. Mike?
Spoiler, it's going to be empty.
Wow. Mike, 2 consecutive weeks with an empty doghouse. Okay, so I had Gallant in the doghouse last week. I'm going to take him out. Taking Gallant out. All right, they won 7 games in a row. At some point, I have to take him out. So he's out, and I'm also leaving it empty. So all 4 of us with an empty doghouse. The team is buzzing, looking good so far. So let's keep it up. Hopefully the doghouse is empty all season. That would be wonderful.
I mean, you look at these last 3 games. I mean, it's as close to being perfect without going over. I don't know how well,
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't shut every team out, but every time the other team started making a move, they counted and just put their foot on the throat, and that was it.
Well, they demolished Chicago. They played one of the best defensive teams in the league in Toronto. They're defensively one of the best teams. I know their goalie situation, whatever, but their
defensemen are horrible.
No, their goals
defensively. I get it. I understand.
Goals against all of that. They're one of the best.
They exploited their defensemen. That's how I looked at it.
Took that game and won it. Close game against one of the top teams in the East. We just demolished Chicago, and with Philly, with our backup goalie in, who struggled, gives up 3 goals. They scored 6. That's all I can add. When the backup plays, score 5 or 6 goals, dude. Like that's what you're supposed to do. So
against a team like Philly, yeah, that's what they should do. We talked about that before, also.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Every time that other team was trying, like even Chicago was what? It was 3-0. Chicago was buzzing in that second period, got the goal. They could have folded a little bit, but then they just kept going.
Yeah.
So their response,
all right,
their response in these 3 games was really good.
All right, Mikey, you got a good. You're also Mikey P. Mikey Produces. I noticed when you logged on your phone earlier, it said Mikey Produces and it was spelled correctly.
Yeah, it's probably
And
because
then
of my phone doing spell check.
And then this time you intentionally spelled it wrong again. So now it says Mikey Produces. Like juice. Like you juice. Is that like a play on words? Like you're on steroids or something?
Not anymore, but no.
All right, give us the trivia.
All right. So in lieu of this hot streak the Rangers have, what is the longest game-winning streak the Rangers have ever recorded?
2 points if you guess the year.
Nice little
That's tough.
nice little job there, Mike.
So amount of games, right?
How many games have they won in a row? Consecutive. What is the most?
Okay, so it's more than 7. Just a fucking
That's
wild
hard
guess.
because way back there were ties. So
Just throwing a wild guess in there.
yeah, me too.
We got numbers or what, guys? All right. Coach has got 13. Cousin Ed's got 13. Little Ed's got 15. Nobody is correct. Hopefully
Tough
they
one.
get on that streak this year. But the most they have ever won in a row would be 10 games.
Wow.
They did
Well, they're
that
close.
twice. Did it twice. They did it first in the 1939-1940 season and then 1972-73 season.
Wow. That's a lot. That's not that many games. I thought it'd be more, to be honest with you. Well, let's see. 0-0-0 across the board. Oh well. All right. Good question, Mike. You stumped us. Usually it's really hard for you to stump all 3 of us with a question. And I don't think that's happened that often. So
Last
question.
week it happened. Last week.
did it? I had nothing written down for last week. When
It
I
was
get it
a-
wrong, I don't keep track. That's the
It was-
problem.
it was- the one with the most hits on the team wasn't that last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And the week before that, we did no trivia because little Ed was calling in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a great holiday. You know, best time of year. I still get excited for this time for Christmas and everything to see my family and stuff, even though I'm getting old. I know it's stressful out there, but everyone take a deep breath and just enjoy it. We're off work. Things are slowing down and we get to just hang out, watch some sports and chill with family and friends. So I hope everyone has a great holiday listening. I will talk to all of you guys over the holiday, but I won't be with you. So I hope you guys also have a great holiday as well.
You as
Yeah.
well.
You too, cuz. Yeah, shout out to all of our fans. I was doing my Instagram rounds today, trying to get people to listen to the new episode, and wanted to give a shout out to Megan Suter down in Tennessee. I commented on one of her posts. She got some nice Rangers Christmas gifts, and she responded that she listens to every episode and she loves our opinions and our comments, and she looks forward to it every week. So shout out to Meg. I'm going to send you down a little fan package. So I guess you're our fan of the week for episode 86.
Tennessee.
Fan of
Yeah.
the week. I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah, I think we're
A
going to have
new,
to
a new segment.
introduce that fan of the week. So shout out to Megan. And also I wanted to give a shout out to Hockey Night in New York, the Islanders podcast we had for the rivalry tour episode over the summer. They graciously gave us a invite to their live show this Thursday for the Rangers Islanders game. And that's going to be over at, it's a brewery in Mineola, the Lost Farmer Brewing Company. It's on East 2nd Street in Mineola. So we're going to start the live show around 6. Then the game starts at 7. There's a ton of beer and food deals going on. So come out and support us. We're going to need a lot of Rangers fans to battle those pesky Islander fans.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
definitely
that's gonna be a
Islanders.
ton of
That's
fun.
definitely Islanders territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah, you definitely got to come and tell some friends and let's go. It's gonna
I
be
wish
fun.
I was there for that. That sounds like a great time, man. I hope
Yeah,
you guys
and
have
if
a
you-
lot of fun. And
If you can't be there, you can actually tune in on Twitch. So I'll send out the information. I think the information is on that post that I sent out or posted earlier today. So you can log into Twitch and follow Hockey Night in New York's channel, and you can actually see the live show.
what is Twitch?
It's kind of like a thing for like video game streamers and things where you can like watch people play video games and
Yeah,
things like that. So
Streaming.
it's a lot. It's like it's a live streaming platform. So I guess if we wanted to get into it, people could watch right now. I mean, personally, I think
Wait, like
live.
so like when you sent that Chell video of Laffy's breakaway goal.
Right, I could have put that on Twitch.
So you
it's
could
really
have,
people watching me play the whole entire game. Yeah,
people would sit there and watch you play the game.
yeah, dude. People make a lot of money playing Call of Duty and NHL and a ton of stuff. People watch it for hours.
Wow. No, okay,
Yeah.
okay. You know, whatever you're into, that's cool. But cool. Okay, so it's on Twitch. It's Thursday, right?
This Thursday against the Islanders, correct?
What time is the interview or the
The live show starts at 6. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to go on. We're not going to be part of the whole show. They're just going to bring us up for a little while. So we're not going to impede on their entire show. But they wanted to bring us in and talk a little smack and kind of return the favor for having them on our podcast, which,
all right, Coach,
hey,
be polite.
It's a big favor.
Be polite, Coach. All right.
I won't disappoint you, Ed. Don't worry.
I have a feeling Sean's going to give it to us more than we're going to give it to him. So, like I said, we're going to need some backup in the audience, guys. So come on out.
Good
Well,
thing
as
you're a
long as we
lawyer,
stay-
cuz.
Yeah, seriously. I'm not a New York lawyer though. Just letting you guys know. All right, boys. Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy everything. And we will be back next week, right? We got an interview. We're dropping an interview with the guy from Hell's Kitchen, right?
Correct. Chad from Hell's Kitchen Rangers. I'm sure you all have seen sounded southern there. You all have seen the MSG commercial where he just gets a bunch of kind of city kids over in Hell's Kitchen and goes to like a local park. And his son's a big player on the team or the program, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's really cool what he does. So stay tuned for a little episode next week. It might just be a little interview, but we might add some other content in as well. So we're going to take a little holiday break and but still give you guys something to listen to. So
all right, cool. All right, tune in next week. Love you guys. Thanks,
Love
man.
you guys.
Guys.